Welcome into episode 3 of Ramie and Drew. I'm Ramie Makloff. That's my co-host, Drew Flaggy over there. Drew, how are you this afternoon, my friend?
I got new headphones. We said we're making adjustments.
You do got new headphones, and that's the thing, Drew, is just always get better. You know what I mean? You got to keep just getting better. And you're not actually using the headphones that you bought because they sounded worse than the actual microphone
that you Why'd you tell them? I was trying to make the effort, and these were worse. Yeah, $25. $25 for a 2-pack. Like, I buy headphones like they're fucking underwear now. I'm like, wow, I get more for less. Cool.
I'm new to the podcast game. Drew has a little bit of experience in the podcast game, but really we're both kind of new to this thing, and we're just trying to figure this thing out as we go. We've seen the support on YouTube and on Spotify, and we do appreciate it. And we're telling you, hang in there, and we're just going to keep on getting better. Technically, content-wise, everything is just going to keep getting better on the Ramie and Drew show. And when it doesn't get better, we'll just pretend it does and use fake headphones and fake microphones and things of the sort. I was just on Amazon. I was just on Amazon while I was waiting for you to figure this shit out, looking at webcams and ring lights. I'm going to get me a ring light. Oh, now you put on a second set of fake headphones.
Nice. I'm putting on the Xbox ones. I was literally using them 10 minutes ago. They're just all plugged into nothing.
Just a bunch of headphones wrapped around your head that are plugged into nothing.
Yeah, and okay, here, I'll tell everybody also right now, I have a blanket over my legs, not because I'm cold, but because I like to do the FDR thing and just, I don't, I podcast like I have polio. It's nice.
You just liked his style? You just want to cop FDR style?
Yeah. Honestly, not his fault.
Hey, there is something to be said about a blanket draped over your legs. It's not
everybody
else.
Bad look. Every other president has a choice in what they can wear. He didn't.
You look classy. It's hard not to look classy when you're just chilling with a blanket draped over your lap. That's not a bad look.
I was even saying though, too, people know what your voice and everything sounds like. I could change up how I do things from episode to episode just to see what works. I don't know if you know a whole lot about the movie review space on YouTube, but there's a lot of people who are really boring and have nothing to say and have millions of subscribers. There's this guy, there's this guy, Chris Stuckman. He is the most vapid. He's been on YouTube for forever. He's the worst movie reviewer, and then he started making movies, and so he decided he's not going to criticize bad movies because he doesn't want to get criticized. He's like, I'm being nice, so you're going to be nice to me, right? Everyone's like, no.
Wow.
But I think I should do Bucks game coverage like Chris Stuckman, because what he did, there are some really great TV shows. They're 10 episodes long. Each episode is an hour long, and he does a 4-minute review on the entire series. It would be if we talked about
the whole series, not per episode. He's spending 4 minutes on the whole series.
No, Haunting at Hill House. It was 4 minutes and 29 seconds of coverage. He just says who directed it, who starred in it, and if he liked it. That's it. So that would be if we talked about the Bucks every night, and if we came in here, and I was just the Milwaukee Bucks are a professional basketball team that play in the National Basketball Association. They're coached by head coach Adrian Griffin and starring Giannis Antetokounmpo. I hope I'm saying that right because he's foreign. And Damian. Guys, the Bucks may have lost tonight, but there were a lot of good things I saw. Also, there are pretty bad things that we could take away from this one. Anyways, I give the letter grade a C.
And that's it. That's the whole episode.
He has millions of subscribers and he does that shit. It's bananas.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not I don't spend a lot of time on YouTube watching podcasts, or I don't spend a lot of time on Spotify listening to podcasts. I appreciate all of you who do, and I'm glad you're taking in this content right now. But as we were starting this up, I was like, let me see what's going on in this world, so I can maybe pick up a few things. And there's a lot of stuff out there, Drew, that I won't say it's bad. It's all of this is objective. You know what I mean? When we're talking about entertainment value, all of this is totally objective. I don't get a lot of what is popular out there in the podcast and YouTuber world, and I don't understand how these people have the following that they do. A lot of them. No offense to any of them. They're doing something right, and I need to do it. We need to do that thing too, so we can get some money doing this thing. But I don't understand it, man. I was talking to a guy who works in YouTube, like the monetization side of things, like for content creators. This was before we even had a podcast. I just happened to be in the same place, same time with this guy. And I was like, so what would you tell somebody who wanted to like make content on YouTube and be successful doing it? He said, make kids shows. He said, make content for kids and translate it into 5 different languages, and you will clean up if you just do that. Make kids content and translate it into 5 languages, and you'll be all set.
I think we're going to be better off doing jacuzzi streams like it's Twitch. I think that's what we have to do. We have to like do like garbled nonsense. Like, dude, I listen to the craziest shit all day. I'm like at work. Like, there's sometimes like I listen to podcasts I actually want to listen to.
Sure.
Like I'll listen to like all the Bucks podcasts. I listen to JJ Redick's podcast, but then I'll also listen to like Dark Side Phil. He's just a bunch of nothing. He was like the number 4 ranked Street Fighter guy of all time, and he says he's like the father of Let's Plays and shit. And he is just insane. Like, he begs his chat constantly for money. He has like a money goal every day of like, he does 2 streams, and he has a money goal for super chats of like $500. And if he hits one day, the next day he acts like nothing happened, and he's like, guys, we're not gonna hit it today, and I'm a little bit disappointed that we're not hitting the money goal. And he does nothing. It's crazy.
We can just ask people for money.
Yeah, on like super chats. That's on YouTube though. But like, there's like YouTube and Twitch or something of like whatever it is. It's hilarious. There's like him, Boogie2988. There was a documentary that came out about him. He was like the father of the internet, and then he brandished a firearm on somebody that showed up at his house. Like, there's all sorts of like crazy shit on the internet.
What are you even talking about right now?
I have
no idea what the fuck you're even talking about right now. Who are these people?
You know, like whenever like I just get on a thing when I've been drinking and I fixate and I'm jumping around from topic to topic, it's because I do that all day long when I'm at work. I'm just like, this seems interesting. And then it's just insanity in my ears while I do my day job. And I'm like, yeah, the world's bad.
I don't understand this world, Drew. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old, but I don't know. I don't understand this crazy world that we live and operate in. I'm sorry.
There's a guy named XQC. I mentioned him in like the first episode. He is like French Canadian. Like, he has the weirdest accent. One of the funniest things that he did, like he's dumb. Like he didn't know what condensation was. Like, he filled up a glass of water. Dude, he filled up a glass of water and he ran downstairs to go get something else. And he came back up and he's like, what the fuck? There's water on my cup. And like, people in the chat were like, yeah, it's condensation. He was like, he's like, condensation. And he looked up what condensation was. He goes, you fucking think that I'm going to believe that water just comes out of nowhere? This guy
he had never seen condensation before?
No, he didn't believe in the concept. He just thought that water just comes from the air. These are millionaires, dude. Like, I'm not even worried about money for this because I at least have dignity. He was playing a video game. All right. And like,
fuck dignity, man. I want to make some money.
Well, all right, he was playing a video game. He was playing like one of the Uncharted games, and it had this weird like calligraphy writing on it. It's like the title card said like, I am a man of fortune and I will get my fortune or something. And the I was like a calligraphy I, and he read it as like the letter J. So he was like, jam a man of fortune and Jay will get my fortune. It was so funny. And like, Jam a Man is like one of the funniest. It's like Internet Hall of Fame. That guy's a millionaire.
We just need to be real stupid is what we need to do. And we're off to a great start. This show is off to an incredibly stupid start. It's going to do big numbers if what you're telling me is right.
I got refurbished headphones from that were a day late.
Yeah, I don't know what, because I'm using the same headphones you were trying to use, and these sound fine. Not great, Again, we're going to keep getting better. We're going to get real microphones, cameras, the whole thing. There's a studio under construction for the Ramie and Drew show, but the headphones that you have just sounded real shitty, Drew. It sounded muffled, like you were underwater.
Well, guess what? I was going to only use them for this podcast, and now that's not even going to happen.
All right. Let's get into the show and get into the sportsy sports talk. And we'll get into some Bucks in a second. They have two games that they better win coming up on Saturday and Monday. But also this weekend, Drew, I don't know that a lot of people thought we'd be saying this. We are talking about the Packers in the second round of the playoffs, taking on the San Francisco 49ers. I, for one, and by the way, those who know me, know I'm a Bears fan. If you don't know me, you should also know, and those who do know me know, that I have no delusions about how good or bad either of the organizations are. All right. I totally understand the Bears are a fucking joke of an organization. They might be right now, Drew, and I don't mean to derail or sidetrack too hard, but tell me if I'm wrong. The Lions and the Texans and the Browns made the playoffs this year. The Bears might be the biggest, longest running joke in the NFL at this moment, as far as organizations go.
Yeah, but they still sign free agents here and there. Like, remember when you guys got a bunch of weapons to go around? Was it Cutler or Trubisky?
Yeah, when they got Brandon Marshall and Martellus Bennett and Alshon Jeffrey and Matt Forte.
Had names got there, so it's not like they're not willing to spend money, but they give up on quarterbacks so goddamn fast. And I think they ruin those quarterbacks too.
Oh, that's exactly what they do. The Packers have the formula on making quarterbacks. The Bears have the formula down pat on breaking quarterbacks.
Is this an insane take to have about football? Because football is my third sport of the big three. I'm a Packers fan by default, and I'm just a passive football fan. It's on, I watch it, but I don't get into any of it, which is why I bet on kickers.
That's ridiculous. Don't bet on kickers, kids.
I'm not tomorrow. I might.
Good.
Depends how much Nathan's paying us for the shows. But okay, if you're gonna develop a quarterback, wouldn't you just go sign some dude who's on his last year or so? And just go load up your offensive line and be don't get this guy killed. And then just prove that you can fight off everybody else and be give them a couple seconds and then go draft a quarterback. So at least this kid's not going to get murdered. Is that an insane thing to say?
Well, first of all, get a good offensive line. And secondly, let a rookie quarterback sit and watch for a minute.
No. I'm saying I would work on the offensive line at this point, because what the Bears are doing is they're just drafting quarterbacks, and it's maybe go make sure that somebody's not going to get murdered. How about that?
Yeah.
And then it's so then you go sign a couple guys and be hey, we're going to be shit for a year or two, and then we're going to go draft a quarterback, maybe trade up or something like that. Maybe you go sign a couple free agents or something, and then unload them, and then use them to trade up for draft picks.
Just stick with Justin Fields and put him in a good spot to succeed for once in his career.
How about that? Just don't get him murdered.
Yeah. We can start there. Don't get your quarterback murdered. But Drew, that brings me to what I was just about to say. I'm not that surprised that the Packers are where they are. And I'll go backwards in order. I thought they had a really good chance of beating the Cowboys last week going into that game, because the Packers were one of the hotter teams in the NFL, and Jordan Love was one of the hotter quarterbacks in the NFL coming into the playoffs. And even going all the way back to when this thing got off to a bit of a rough start, I was telling people, I did a few hits on As Goes Wisconsin with our mutual friend Greg Bach, and they got me on to talk some football. I was on when things were looking bleak for the Packers. And I said, everybody relax and don't be surprised if we're talking about a Packers team that is in the mix or in the hunt for a playoff spot, if not in a playoff spot by the time December and January rolls around. And here we are, man. And the reason I said that is because more than any one player, and this is no knock on Jordan Love or anybody else, more than any one player, I have pretty strong belief in the Packers as an organization, and they're not going to let this thing get too bad at any point. And usually it's going to be pretty damn good when you're talking about the Green Bay Packers. And now not only does it look pretty damn good for this season, but you have the youngest offense in the league. You have the youngest roster to ever make the playoffs. Things are looking good for the Packers for years to come, one season removed from moving on from one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to beat Dallas. I thought they really had a low chance, but that's because up like 37 points per game at home. And just, I mean, I am a Joe Barry hater. I'm part of the fire Joe Barry squad. I'm like, I don't understand how many defensive breakdowns we constantly had, especially even in games that like we were playing pretty well. But like even like that Giants game when we lost that one, like that was really bad. And I'm like, a team that's at least somewhat competent, I think, could pick apart that defense. And I mean, getting complacent, I think, would be bringing back Joe Barry. But I mean, we're going to. You can't fire a guy after what just happened. So I'm not like.
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't say that. Which brings me to the game that they got coming up this weekend in the. Is this the wild card round or is this now the divisional round? Because they added super wild card weekend. So is this just regular wild card weekend or is this who gives a shit? The bottom line is that when they take on the 49ers. Oh, this game is on Saturday night when they take on the 49ers. As much as I believe in the Packers and I think this is a good team and they've started something good for years to come here, that 49ers team is just too much, Drew. And Joe Barry still isn't good at his job. Like, don't get it twisted or let, a small sample size fuck up your whole perception of what has gone on this year, because the Packers defense is not as good as it should be. When you look at some of the players and the playmakers that they have on that side of the football and the assets that they've spent on that side of the football in terms of draft picks and money and everything else, that defense should be better than it is. And I think they turn into a pumpkin for whatever improvement that we've seen to this point. I think the moment that they turn back into a pumpkin at midnight comes Saturday night when they take on the 49ers, because I just can't see Joe Barry matching up with Kyle Shanahan and Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and who am I missing? George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk. It's too much. And I think this is where sort of this Cinderella run ends, but still, I mean, plenty to look forward to when the season is over and you move into the offseason. And I think if it's embarrassing the way that it goes down on Sunday, or if it's just, 450 yards that the 49ers somehow put up on this Packers defense, you could see Joe Barry looking for a job in the offseason, even despite making the playoffs and the improvement that we saw in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Packers are going to get embarrassed, but I still don't think they're going to win. But if they do, it's a fucking party. It's going to be fun. I'm all about them winning. It's funny because at the beginning of the year, like I've told you so many times. I mean, not a lot of people know that. Like, this is going to sound awful. I shouldn't say this, but like, I hate Packer fans. I really hate them. Like,
you're not helping, dude. We're trying to get subscribers, and you're not helping.
Listen, they can make hard. I just grew up liking the Bucks and Brewers, and everybody told me, "How do you watch this shit?" Well, I grew up with like Brett Favre and then Aaron Rodgers, and I'm like, "Well, because I believe in my team." And they're like, "You shouldn't. They suck." And then it's at the beginning of this year, I was like, "Yeah, finally, the Packers are going to have a bad season." And now I'm sitting here, I'm like, "Well, woo! Like, let's go!" Like,
Wait. Just to make sure I got this right. You are a Packers fan, but
Yes.
you
I
have
like the team, not the fan base.
you have contempt for Packers fans for
Like
so
the
long because for
like-
so long they ridiculed you for being a Bucks and Brewers fan, and you wanted them to get a little taste of your suffering this
just that.
season.
Yeah, give me. I want to see a little bit of like cheese tears. That's all
Dude,
I wanted.
You're
Little
so
bit, like,
you're so twisted. I can't even like you're telling me this right now, and I can't make sense of it. Like it's I don't even understand. I don't even understand what you're saying right now.
Listen, the last Packers jersey I bought was Eddie Lacy.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I know. Now I got to get. I'm probably
was it because you share his love for Chinese food and gummy bears, or was it his football?
No, it was a little bit of both.
Okay, good to know.
It was a little bit of both. It was, Cheeseburger Eddie. He ruled. It's yeah.
I don't remember what they were. I should pull them up, but Eddie Lacy's tweets about food were just the best. His love for Chinese food and his love for candy was just. I could really relate. To Eddie Lacy.
Do you remember when they took pictures of him at training camp and everybody's like, look at him being fat, and the Packers like, no, he's actually in shape. It was like the same way that I would make a Tinder profile. I'm like, find the angle where I don't look like that.
But he was in shape. I mean, he was a big boy. He was never fat. He was thick. He was 2 C's thick. You know what I mean? He was never fat. I know fat, Drew. I used to be 300 plus pounds. I know fat. That dude was never fat.
Well, yeah, but that's like how my grandma is. She's like, he eats good. And he's strong.
He's big boned. That's all it was. That's all it was to it.
So no, I do have to
What's your
some of these bets so I can get a Jordan Love jersey. So
so you are going to get a Jordan Love jersey?
Yeah, fuck, why not? I kind of wanted an Aaron Jones one. Running backs, every time I get a running back's jersey, they either get fat or they blow their leg out. So it's just, I like Aaron Jones too much to do that to him.
Fair enough. Don't do that to Aaron Jones. Even as a Bears fan, I like Aaron Jones. He seems like a good dude. Don't do that to him. Don't do that to him. Your prediction for Sunday, Drew. What do you think is going to happen? Or Saturday, excuse me, Packers and 49ers.
I think we're going to probably going to lose. I'm going to give the Packers, I'll give them 17 points.
I'll say 34-21 49ers.
Yeah, I didn't want to go as high and put a 40 spot for the 49ers. I was kind of sitting around the 35.
I think Joe Barry, for whatever credibility he's earned, he gets exposed on Saturday against Kyle Shanahan and this Ford. They're just too good, man. That team is just, and any given Sunday or whatever the fuck. But that 49ers team is just really good. You look at that team on both sides of the ball, and you just go, is the salary cap real? Because how do they afford all these guys? They just have playmakers and difference makers stacked on both sides of that football. And I got to think that eventually the what's the expression that I'm looking for? I don't know. The stars align for them. That's the expression I was looking for. And they're able to make a deep run or even a Super Bowl run because they're too stacked.
Well, don't you think the stars kind of have a line? Did you freeze?
My computer just froze. Oh, there we go.
Well,
I did freeze just now, but we're back.
I think,
but I was just saying, they're just the 49ers are just too stacked for this not to eventually work.
But every other good team pretty much lost, is out now, right? In the NFC?
Yeah, I mean the Eagles the Eagles and the Cowboys both they were both what, the 1 and the 3 or the 2 and the 3 seed in the NFC. They both lost last weekend. So crazy shit happens, man. But both those teams were kind of trending in the wrong direction as the playoffs were approaching. So it makes a little bit of sense. The 49ers are not. They're hot, they're rolling, and like I just said, they're just too stacked on both sides of the football, I think, for this young of a Packers team to stop them in their tracks.
Yeah, like I said, I just think that the stars aligning were the good teams that fell off and got knocked out. And now it's like you do have the younger, the weaker teams that are kind of in there. Because I'm not going to sit here and say the Packers are a powerhouse. I think they can be dangerous. You can't sleep on them. But I just think that the veteran team is going to beat them.
Elsewhere in the league this weekend, Drew, and I'm sure you do you bet on football the way you bet on basketball or no?
No, I know way more about basketball. So I follow that. Like, I mean, tonight when we're at the show, like, I'm going to be sitting in the back watching whatever games are on tonight. Like,
yeah. By the way, we're at the
so,
Comedy Cabin tonight. If you're listening today on January 19th, Friday, January 19th, come catch Drew and me at the Comedy Cabin in Janesville tonight and tomorrow. We will be out there. I think the Texans run comes to an end this week at the hands of the Ravens. I don't know about you. I got a sneaky feeling, call me crazy, about this Buccaneers team and the Lions finally lying this weekend, you know what I mean, and lose a game that they shouldn't lose in the playoffs to Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. And all I got on that, Drew, is just a gut feeling about this Buccaneers team and about this Lions team and the way that this thing is going to play out on Sunday.
Yeah, you should definitely place bets on it if it's in your gut, because that's you know what? Let's open up Underdog. Let's see what we can bet.
But on Underdog, you can only bet
players.
Underdog should really sponsor this show for as much time as we've already given them in these first three shows. You can only bet on players, right? Like more than and less than. And it's not overs and unders, because that would be gambling. This is fantasy.
No, it's higher or lower.
It's higher or lower. You can't play spreads. Like I couldn't bet on the Buccaneers plus whatever the spread is in this game on Sunday.
Have to go a lot for that.
Damn. All right. Yeah, I'm not doing all that. But I got a feeling about Baker and the Buccaneers. And then, Drew, the big one is the Chiefs and the Bills. Sunday night, it's your annual choking by Josh Allen. Enjoy, everyone. Enjoy, America. No. As Josh Allen does it's like Santa Claus coming down the chimney. You know what I mean? Josh Allen going to choke, throw a few to the Chiefs, and this time it'll be at home, so it'll be even worse. And more people than have already come around on the notion that Josh Allen is overrated and kind of a fraud. More people will come around to that when he loses this game to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs on Sunday and has I'm calling it right now, at least 2 turnovers in this game as the Chiefs move on to the AFC Championship.
You can bet on those turnovers. You can do higher, lower picks. You're saying, just like Santa Claus, Josh Allen, you don't believe in him anymore.
No, I don't. And he's really good. Don't get me wrong. He's a top 10 quarterback in this league, but he's not that dude the way that he was portrayed or made out to be that dude until this year.
Him of the NFL. Yeah, he ain't him. I get it.
That's a great comparison. That is a great comparison, Drew Flagg. He is.
We're also 3 for 3 on me hating on Jason Tatum.
This is true. This is true. You agree with me? Is this the annual choking of Josh Allen, or do you think that the Bills finally get over the hump this year?
So I'm going to go with a gut feeling is that we shouldn't post this episode until now after our checks from the Comedy Cabin clear, because Nathan Clemens is a Bills fan. And if he
for real.
Yeah, the boss. I want to be like, don't do it. Like, root against Swift. Don't root against Josh Allen. But no, you know what? I want to make the bold prediction. Josh Allen gets it done, and we have to just watch Taylor Swift's dumb face try to explain away what just happened, and then watch her look at Brittany Mahomes and be like, "He's your husband." Like. I want her next album to be about the Chiefs choking away an entire season. That's what I want it to be.
Drew, I hope this show gets to a point where we can just say whatever we want and not care. You know what I mean? But we have to get a following first. And so far, in today's show, you said you don't like Packers fans and made fun of Taylor Swift. Like the algorithm is going to pick that up, and this is going to get to absolutely nobody, or it's going to get to a bunch of people who are just going to trash us and try to cancel us after this episode is over. What the fuck are you doing? It's episode 3. We don't have that kind of power yet that we can just do shit like this.
No, dude, people are going to learn to come around on it. That's the way this works.
No,
it's called negging, and it works.
Okay.
What Drew Tate, it works.
Listen, you know what? We might get the Andrew Tate people. That we might get them to follow us if you continue down this road.
No, we're too flabby. It's not going to happen. The days of being hot boys is over, dude. We can't.
What if we smoke cigars on the show and wear sunglasses indoors at night? Then we might get the Andrew Tates, right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Catch us tonight smoking cigars and wearing sunglasses inside at night at the Comedy Cabin, comedycabin.com for tickets. One team and one fan base you don't neg, Drew Flaggy, is your Milwaukee Bucks, who they got two. They got 2 before we record another podcast. We'll be back on Monday. Today's Friday. We'll be back on Monday, and it is back-to-backs in Detroit against the Pistons. And quite frankly, I don't care where these games are played. I don't care if Giannis doesn't play again, like we saw the other night. They better win these games against the Pistons. These are, and this is going to sound stupid, these are must-win games. Just on morale alone, these are must-win games for Bucks fans, and the Bucks going in there and taking care of business and doing what they're supposed to do against the Pistons.
I mean, like, a nice 10-point win would be acceptable for me. Like, I mean, I don't care how they win them at all, honestly. Like, I don't care if a Damian Lillard buzzer beater, but I don't think Dame hits a game-winning shot and starts doing Dame time. He's like, it's the Pistons. Like, I think, like, so now if Brooke Lopez wants to do that and do Dame time, all right, cool. Like, I'd be cool with that. But
I don't know. Have you seen the videos of like dads crossing over their kids or hitting a bomb off their kids, and they'll celebrate it and talk shit? Like that would be the equivalent of Dame hitting a game winner against the Pistons and then doing the Dame time celebration afterwards. It's like beating a 4-year-old, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then you rub it in their face afterwards. You feel real good about yourself.
Oh yeah, they're crying and you're carrying the bat to first base and everything and wiffle ball. It's awesome, dude. Like, dude, I'm not gonna lie. In wiffle ball, when I hit a home run, I'll walk it out.
You got to. Fuck yeah. You're doing that against adults. Of course you're gonna do it there. Pimp that home run.
So we hollowed out one bat and used it as a beer bong one time for our team. That was sick. So no, they're gonna beat the Pistons. I mean, but remember, the national media did say that the Pistons are one of the teams that'll give the Bucks problems this year.
Do you remember that? How ridiculous that fucking was?
That was, but also like the Pacers were on that list, and I'm like, they were right.
No, and when I saw that statement, and it was like a anonymous NBA Eastern Conference executive or something like that said that the Pacers and the teams like the Pacers and the Pistons are going to give the Bucks a hard time. The Pacers, I looked at it and I went, yeah, I mean they're kind of up and coming, you know what I mean, and they might be a problem somewhere down the road, and enough to be like a nuisance and an annoyance right now. You know what I mean? I saw that being possible. But the Pistons, I mean, I didn't see it being this bad, Drew, but I never thought that the Pistons were a team that would give the Bucks trouble or make any noise in the East.
I don't know what the Pistons are even trying to do as an organization. Like, do you remember back when the Bucks used to just draft guys who were like athletic and long, because you can't teach length. Like, we had that one year where they had everybody stand like fingertip to fingertip, and they were like, see, the Bucks fingertip to fingertip are longer than the wings of a 747. It's like, wow.
That was Giannis, Larry Sanders,
yeah,
John Henson. I want to say Chris Middleton was one of them too, because he's long and tall for his position. And was it Brandon Jennings? Was that the fifth guy?
No, it would Brandon Knight, maybe, because Brandon Jennings was traded for Chris Middleton.
I do remember that, and I remember falling for it. I was like, who can get past that? Just stand arm to arm across the court, and nobody's gonna get across the free throw line. What can you do about that?
Yeah, like that's what it seems like the Pistons are doing, where they're just getting like 6'6" guards like Cade Cunningham, and I'm like, okay, can these guys play together? Like they already gave up on Sadiq Bey. They traded him. Like now it's like they're saying that like Bojan Bogdanovic is like untouchable in trades. Like why? Like what do you think you're building in the next couple years that he needs to be a part of?
Yeah, and other than Cunningham, nobody in Detroit should be untouchable. I really like Jaden Ivey coming out of college. I thought he might be something, but he's shown nothing to this point that I'd call him untouchable by any stretch.
Yeah, well, I mean, I bet the lower on Jaden Ivey one time, and he covered it.
You didn't bet the lower. You played fantasy.
It was I took the lower than
there you go,
and he got 9.
I bet you didn't like him that night.
Watch out for him tomorrow.
But no, I want not just wins in these games, Drew. I want easy wins. And I think it was Malik Beasley. I think it was Malik Beasley at practice. I heard talking a few days ago about they need some games that are decided earlier and not games that are coming down to the wire and running up guys' minutes, and also like high leverage situations. They wear on guys more than just regular minutes over the course of a season. They need not just wins, but a couple of easy wins against this Pistons team in the next couple of games.
I mean, these are going to be very easy overreaction games for a lot of people. Like where it's going to be, if we don't win by like 10, I would say like people are going to be thinking we got to blow these guys out by like 20 or something. We got to do it early. Like every player on that roster though is playing for a spot in just the NBA at all. Like that's all they're doing. So it's like, yeah, they're fighting. Every player there is fighting for their lives. It's kind of the same thing with San Antonio. Outside of Wemby, like, and probably Vassell, nobody on that roster is going to be there in 2 years, except for your one-star player.
I just want to see him control the game throughout and be able to sit some guys later in the game. And again, like I said, not have to run up minutes, not have to run up these high leverage, close game, late game minutes for their best players. That shit, it adds up, man, and it takes a toll over the course of a season. And when you're facing a team like the Pistons, you should be able to do that.
It would be nice to be able to have to get a decent cushion or like a good lead and just let Chris Middleton play the beginning of the third and then just have Jay Crowder extended minutes, get him back in the swing of things. Like that's something I would rather see in these games. And yeah, we'd get laughed at if we lost one of these 2 games. But like if there was a grander scheme there to like we're gonna get Jay Crowder game shape and stuff, like I'm also okay at this point in the season kind of taking a knee, and if it gets tight, it gets tight. But yeah, I'd rather some easy, stress-free wins on this stuff.
All right, that's Drew Flaggy. We'll talk about all this stuff, the Packers, the Bucks, and the Pistons on our next episode coming up on Monday. That will be January 22nd. That'll be episode 4 of Ramie and Drew. And don't forget, tonight and tomorrow, January 19th and 20th, catch us at the Comedy Cabin up in Janesville. Tickets at comedycabin.com. Drew, I'm going to see you soon because we're carpooling to this show together. I'm going to be fucking sick of you by the end of this weekend, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I want to say, I think it's cabinlaughs.com.
Oh, cabinlaughs.com. I just put in comedycabin.com in my browser, and I think it automatically reroutes you. Either way, comedylaughs.com, comedycabin. Either way, you're all smart. You can find it and come check us out. And
if you're in the area, you should check it out. Our friend Nathan Clemens opened it. It's a startup. He's like he's a great guy and
great dude.
He puts on a lot of great shows and stuff. He gets a lot of great national touring comics to come through. So if you ever want to check it out or something, he's got a great business down there.
Yeah, even if it's not this weekend, support local business. You know what I mean? And local business owners, and go check out the Comedy Cabin any chance that you get. And please support us. YouTube, it's real easy to find. Ramie and Drew, Spotify, Ramie and Drew. Subscribe, follow, like, rate, review, do all the things to help us build this thing. And we're going to get lights and cameras and microphones. It's going to be a whole thing. And we're just going to keep getting better. And you're going to keep growing with us. And we appreciate you.
And I'll be nicer to fans.
Yeah, stop offending all the biggest fan bases in our audience and in the world in general.
You brought up Marvel yesterday.
Yeah, you shit on Marvel, Taylor Swift, and Packers fans in 3 episodes. 3 episodes. You've managed to alienate 3 of the largest fan bases in the world. So thank you for that, Drew. I'm sure we're gonna grow rapidly at this rate.
Well, it's a good thing Star Wars doesn't have a movie coming out in a while.
That's Drew Flaggy. I'm Ramie Makloff. This is Ramie and Drew. We'll talk to you next time.